The urban community is known for its following features. Number one, social heterogeneity. The concentration of a large population in a small area leads to social heterogeneity. Density maximizes the competition for space and for comparative advantage and thus forces specialization. So, a large number of people in a small area leads to social heterogeneity. In a small area, a large number of people are staying. Every person is different from another person, and this causes social heterogeneity. Density maximizes the competition for space. When in a limited area a large number of people will stay, then there will be a competition, and for comparative advantage, and each and every person will try to get certain advantage of the space that is available, and there will be competition among them, and thus forces specialization. And the person who has the maximum skills and who has more capabilities, that person will succeed and he will achieve his targets and will become a successful person. In cities, the individuals are free from close social control. There is no one to control them in terms of alienation and loneliness. The city promotes these two things. The longer the city, the greater becomes the problem of control and more complex the agencies of secondary regulations. If the city is a bigger one, in that case, the control by the secondary agencies of regulation becomes more complex. Then number 3, voluntary association. In cities, the people are perfect in setting for voluntary associations. Nearly every kind of group acquires voluntary character. Then fourth one is individualism. In a city, the secondary and voluntary character of urban association, the multiplicity of opportunities and the social mobility all forces an individual to make own decision and to plan their career. Means everyone is free to do what they want to do. They have the right to take their own decisions. Then social mobility. City characterizes and promotes great social mobility. The elaborate division of labor found in the city coincides with a system of stratification which is based on achievement rather than ascribed status. So in cities, there is chances of great social mobility. The division of labor is on the basis of your achieved skills and not ascribed status. Urban structure is managed by recruiting heterogeneous population on the basis of competence, efficiency and novelty rather than birth. So there is no criteria of getting jobs in cities in accordance to the caste. It all depends upon the skills, competency and efficiency of the person. It promotes an open stratification system characterized by inequality. There is equality in all the matters. Then greater inequality. The city demands a certain amount of external conformity on grounds of decency and convenience. In urban space, there is existence of both extreme power and affluence. Urban slums and elites are notable examples of greater inequality in urban communities. In urban communities, inequality is greater. There are people who are very rich, and some belongs to the middle class. Some live in urban slums, and the elite of the cities, they get the maximum advantages. Next is spatial segregation. The competition for space in the heterogeneous and dynamic city leads to a characteristic segregation of group and functions visible in the city's spatial pattern. The center of the urban areas is monopolized functions of basic importance to the whole city, such as finance and government.